Welcome to 3 True Camping Scary Stories. In the heart of a dense, shadowy forest in the Pacific Northwest, a group of friends set out for what they thought would be an adventurous weekend of camping. The woods, known for their pristine beauty, also held stories of unexplained phenomena that the locals often whispered about but seldom dared to explore. On the second night, as the campfire flickered under the moonless sky, an eerie silence enveloped the group. The tranquility was suddenly shattered by a soft whispering sound that seemed to come from all directions. Initially dismissing it as the wind, the group's unease grew as the whispering intensified, becoming a chorus of indistinct voices. With no discernible source, panic set in. The decision to pack up was unanimous, but as they scrambled to leave, they found their equipment malfunctioning. Flashlights flickered off, and the GPS showed them moving in circles despite following the path back. Exhausted and terrified, they spent the night huddled together, the whispers never ceasing. By dawn, the voices faded, and the equipment mysteriously worked again, allowing them to make a hasty retreat. Once home, they researched and found tales of a historic tragedy in those woods, where a settlement had vanished without a trace. The whispering, it seemed, was the echoes of those lost souls, forever etched into the night. A solo hiker named Alex ventured into the vast wilderness of the Appalachian Trail, seeking solitude and the thrill of conquering one of America's most famous trails. One night, deep in a secluded section of the trail, Alex encountered something that would haunt him forever. As he settled into his tent, a feeling of being watched crept over him. Brushing it off as nerves, he tried to sleep, only to be awakened by a faint scratching sound on the fabric of his tent. Grabbing his flashlight, he shone it outside, expecting to see an animal, but instead found nothing. The scratching grew more insistent, and peering out again, Alex froze in terror. 2 glowing eyes, suspended in the darkness, stared back at him. They were too high off the ground to belong to any animal he knew. As he watched, the eyes blinked and then disappeared as silently as they had appeared. The next morning, Alex found large, unidentifiable tracks surrounding his tent and leading off into the dense forest. He quickly packed up and left, vowing never to return. Back home, research led him to stories of an ancient creature said to roam the Appalachian, its origins shrouded in mystery and legend. Alex had become part of the legend with his own chilling encounter. In the remote wilderness of the Australian Outback, a couple, Sarah and John, experienced a camping trip that turned their reality on its head. They had set up camp in a known but isolated location, enjoying the vast starlit sky of the southern hemisphere. However, the wonder turned to confusion when they awoke on their second morning to find their campsite completely altered. Their tent was now several meters from where they had set it up, with no sign of drag marks. Personal items were scattered around in a precise, almost deliberate pattern. The fire pit they had used the night before was now filled in, with untouched ground where it had been. Stranger still, their food supplies were untouched, and no animal tracks were visible around the disturbed areas. Feeling uneasy but rationalizing it as a prank, they decided to continue their trip. That night, strange lights appeared in the sky, moving in patterns that seemed impossible for conventional aircraft. The next morning, their camp was again altered, this time more drastically. Unable to explain the events through natural or human actions, they left the outback. The local authorities found no evidence of anyone else in the area at the time, and the couple's story added to the growing list of unexplained phenomena in the Australian wilderness, where the landscape itself seemed